Your essential nature of the human being is this, which no other animal is capable of, is…
Ready for the video?
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right.
Conscious practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Right on.
today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Is anger needed to be effective?
My name is V. I'm an aspiring yogi, level of things meditation, yoga, and wisdom based. Super grateful to have Rehan here on the show. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Rayan Merchant, and I'm a Pakistani Muslim. I'm a biology major, and I'm a pre-med here at UT Austin.
Well, thank you for being here. Have you heard of a guy named Sadhguru before?
No, I have not.
Cool. Well, with that being said, let's get
Get into the video.
We often talk about anger management, anger control, but if our soldiers don't show their anger, how are they going to fight wars at the border?
If they shoot in anger, they'll miss. They'll waste the cartridges. To shoot, you must be in a very even, balanced, equanimous mind, otherwise you cannot shoot. You don't have to be angry to shoot. If you're angry and shoot, you are not a soldier, you're a vandal. A soldier is standing up for a cause. He's not shooting because of his personal enmity with somebody. Yes, he's standing up for a nation. He's not standing up for his personal anger or enmity with somebody. So, if you want to shoot straight, you try and see. They can take you to the range today. You try and see. If you want to shoot, one thing that is necessary is you have to be balanced. Even if you have to… You know, even in a golf game it's called shooting, score. If you want to shoot straight, you got to be level-headed, otherwise you're not going to shoot straight. This is especially so with a bullet because of the velocity and even the smallest variation, a micromillimeter variation will take it somewhere else. In many ways, United States, in their conflicts, probably of all the nations, the US Army has used snipers extensively, like no other country probably. It's a brutal game, but if you're angry, you will never shoot straight. You're shooting half a mile away, you're not going to shoot straight for sure. So, soldier need not be angry. That's why I told you, Krishna chose to give the Gita in the battlefield. He's talking about equanimity, not anger. Because if you want to win the war, you must be stable. Angry people will get killed. Please don't react to what I say, but consider this. Armed forces, especially those who are in active service, who every day face situations which is life and death in some way. I know Indian Army is not so much so, but still it is there, but I've seen how the US Army trains. They're training them to, come on, we'll do this to them, all kinds of vulgar words and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. This is how we've been pepping up the armies. But I feel the elite forces everywhere in the world are not trained like that. They're trained to be very, very equanimous, to be focused, to be meditative, to not react, but to respond according to the situation. This element should be brought into the forces in a big way at the fundamental basic training, that you only respond, you don't react. This will make a world of difference in the way you operate. Whether it's with your family or with the business outside or with the actual job that you're doing, wherever it is. Your essential nature of the human being is this, which no other animal is capable of, is we don't have to instinctively react, we can respond consciously. This is where we can employ our intelligence. Otherwise, there is no room for intelligence. The only reason why we are dominating this world is because of our intelligence, not because of our physical strength. If we do not exercise what is strongest in us, then we're losing out big time. So, we must shift every human being, not just a soldier, every human being, from a state of compulsive reaction to your conscious response. This is my fundamental goal with every human being. If only human beings were consciously responding, they would do the best, isn't it? To the best of their intelligence and capability.
So Rayan, what are your first thoughts after watching this video on anger?
There was a lot of things I think I really agree with in that video. His example with, the marksman and the sniper, it's 100% valid. You cannot be in a state of anger when you're trying to do something super precise. But I think one thing that could be added on top of this is, and he kind of did go, he did talk about that later in this video, when he was talking about not being compulsive and not reacting, and instead kind of assessing the situation and then taking actions to, tackle that situation, right? And so, one of the main things talked about in this video was anger. I think, you could even think about it, one step further. I think you can have anger and get things done. It's just how you let that anger control you, right? Now, if you have anger and you're flustered and you're erratic and you're trying to get something done, nothing will get done. When you're trying to finish assignment, you're angry, I procrastinated it. It's 11:58 and you can't click the button, you're not gonna turn it in on time, right? And same thing with this, you're a sniper, you're angry, you're not gonna get it on time. But you could be, in a different situation, you could be angry at yourself. Man, why did I not finish this on time? But if you are still calm in your actions, you could still get it done. That's what I feel like. So
You're basically saying that you don't want to let the anger consume you, but it's okay to have it, correct?
I think so. I think that you shouldn't, completely eradicate your anger. You shouldn't get rid of it, but you should be able to kind of regulate it.
That's a great perspective, and I think it's valid because, a lot of us humans, we're not enlightened per se, right? So it's pretty normal, even for me. I meditate hours a day, and I'll get angry from time to time, and it's just the human part of me. So I definitely love what you shared here because it's a very realistic way, right? But I guess, just diving a bit deeper into that itself, do you think in the optimal world, if there was no anger, it would be best, or do you think anger is still needed?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Optimally, I think we'd be living in a utopia if there was no
Well, let's say
anger.
there was a switch where you could click right now, anger disappears. Would you click that, hit that switch, or no?
Would I click that switch? It kind of depends because, in a world where there's no anger, in this world right now, if I click the switch right now and got rid of anger completely, how would it affect the people in power and, the people that, that are, the regular people, the regular man, right? Because there is a lot of injustices, that are in this world. And the only reason why that they're being, put to light is because of the regular men, the people like us, right? Because the people in power, a lot of them truly don't care about a lot of the injustices.
So just to kind of backtrack, so would you hit the switch or not? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I would agree with you actually on that no too, because I think I would say I would argue actually that ideally anger is not needed at all because you could function so much more clearly, as you just mentioned, even when studying or whatever it might be. However, I think it's important that people work on letting go of the anger themselves, right, versus a switch that magically removed it, because I think a lot of wisdom can actually be attained through that self-working, inner work, right? So I think that would be super important to just highlight. So with that being said, what do you think of the Guru himself in terms of the way he talked or what he said? Any first thoughts? First time seeing him, right?
Right. It was the first time seeing him. I think he was, the examples that he brought up were very, I thought it was very informative. I think his perspective was very clear in the way that he thinks. He displayed the way that he thought very clearly. So I thought it was a very interesting video.
Yeah, there we go. And I just want to add in to this whole conversation, you had some great points here that Sadhguru talks with this actually himself, and it's the idea that, let's say when someone does something bad to you, right, or says something mean to you, right, and you get angry as a result, anger, it actually shows, I mean, scientifically proven too, that there's certain markers, including your blood pressure, that changes in a negative way when you're angry. So you're actually harming yourself and expecting something bad to happen to the other person. It's just illogical, right? So really, at the end, anger is not going to serve you any good usually. The other thing is, he talks about this too, which is really cool, which is the idea that when, again, someone quote unquote angers you, it's important to realize and note that it's a form of slavery. Because if you can allow someone else to dictate how you feel on the inside, that's a form of slavery. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
So it's super simple. Again, it's not easy. Back to the practical points he mentioned, we all will have some anger, so it's important that we regulate that, as he says. And I want to thank you so much for being here. You did amazing. If you have any other video reaction requests, topics, or guests that you want to see on the show, you can comment down below. Also, let us know your thoughts, your views. Open platform here, open discussion on what I've shared, what he shared, or what Sadhguru has shared in the comments down below. With that, make this a great day. Take it joyfully and stay conscious. Awesome job. You did great, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Perfect.